Good evening, Toronto. You're listening to Lovers Rotation here on CIUT 89.5 FM, the one and only sound of your city. Welcome back and welcome home to your soulful sanctuary here in our beautiful city of Toronto. My name is Aisha and I'm your host tonight. And as per usual, we're joined by some real ones at the Lovers table. This time we got two artist guys. Yes, we're so happy. It feels like a full house. I'm loving all of the energies in the room right now, but I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves. Obviously, I'm joined by the beautiful, beautiful T over there.
Hello, it's your girl T.
And we are joined by a duo. They go by LOWERSELF together, but let's hear you guys introduce yourselves as well.
I go by Lowercase. I'm an artist, creative, rapper, producer.
Okay.
I try to sing once in a bit.
He does it all.
I try, you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm a part of a little group. We go by Wrong Crowd, and this guy is.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Self, also rapper, producer, lyricist, somewhat singer as well.
Okay.
You know?
He sings more than me.
Oh, really?
I do.
All right, well, we got the mics here, guys, so you will be hearing that later. Just playing, but we're just going to jump right into the tracks because, as you guys know, we got a lot to play and a lot to say. T, I'm going to let you introduce this next one because this is your girl, and she chose this track. It has been going viral. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but it is a good song, but
Okay, so
why'd you choose her?
Yeah, we're starting off with Sailor, and the song is Pookie's Requiem, and it's a vibe. Like, I know some people like to hate on viral songs, but it's actually a vibe, and I like it. So, yeah, we're going to jump right in with Pookie's Requiem.
Welcome back to Lovers Rotation here on CIUT 89.5 FM. We are joined tonight by Lowercase and Self, and that last song you guys just heard was Nights by Self himself. So tell us about this song. How did it come to life?
For this record, it really came to life through my constant commutes to and from work. I felt like I never really had the right song I want to hear, so I was just scrolling through the whole time. Like a long Uber ride, and then now I have nothing playing. So one day I just got home and I was like, okay, let me just make a bunch of records I want to hear or I would like to hear, and thus became Nights and the Roads EP.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a nice backstory, honestly, because I have that moment all the time.
Yeah.
As a commuter, sometimes like I'll just be maybe in the train or in an Uber, even in a car, and I'm just like, there's a certain ambiance that you need, especially when it's at night. So definitely very fitting. But let's just jump into each of your backgrounds. We can start with you. So you said that you're a commuter. So where are you based? Are you based in Toronto here?
Yeah, I'm based in Toronto.
Is that where you born and raised?
Born and raised.
Okay, so what about you? Were you born and raised in Toronto?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you guys sort of come together as artists? Or where did you meet? Is this like one of them old friendships that blossomed into music? Or did you guys meet as artists?
Oh, literally old friendship.
Yeah. One of the old friendships that blossomed into making music together. I mean, I'll let him tell the story.
Oh, okay, cool. He was really close friends with my cousin. So a lot of the times he'd be over at his house. And then actually it started with a rivalry. I'm gonna keep it on.
Oh,
wait,
let's keep it 100.
But
Yes,
like video
thank you.
game based. No hate.
What game
Okay, tell
was
us
it?
the lore,
Street Fighter.
Okay.
Yeah, every time we'd go there, the theme was like, "What's up? How are you? Let's run the Street Fighter." And he was the man to beat, and I wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? But then over time, we started hanging out more, and then we both found out that we both make music. It's something we both are passionate about, and from there we just kind of gravitated to one another.
Okay, I like that. So first of all, I love that it started as a rivalry. So that's technically you still kind of work together well, but just in a different way.
Yeah, it's like a friendly competition. I feel like it helps us elevate to the next level every time.
Definitely. It's definitely steel sharpens steel. I feel like, he's such a dope artist. And, you got to, when you acknowledge that and you want to be a dope artist, like, and you're looking at other dope artists, like, and you start working with them, you naturally you want to make sure you're making sure like your music level, whether it's lyrically, vocally, whatever, is just at a good place, because you don't want to hear someone tell you, yo, this person was the highlight of the song that you're on or you're with, you know what I mean?
Facts.
You know, so obviously you want to make sure it's at least a good synergy where people are like, I like both of you guys, but like, you know, when your people are telling you, yeah, man, I didn't even want to hear your part for real. Like I just wanted to hear that other person's part.
That.
Naturally, you're kind of just like, I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
So again, it's just steel sharpens steel. Just like I'll hear, you know, his verse or something, I'll be like, yeah, I gotta either redo mine or whatever the case may be, or vice versa. Like, so yeah.
Okay, so why don't each of you describe your own personal music styles and then maybe talk about how you guys come together and fuse?
Go ahead.
Oh, me first?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Lead the way.
I guess I would describe my style as more laid back, introspective, reflective, peaceful as well.
Nice.
You know, I'm trying to incorporate more energy, just because, you know, based on who I am as a person, I feel like that's a side not everyone gets to see, but I have the benefit of showcasing it through the music. So.
Okay.
That sounds cute. But
you know it though.
No, for sure. No, for sure. You are definitely the super laid back. Don't get it twisted. I feel like I agree. I'm somewhat of that. I feel like I'm definitely a laid back person as well. I think that when it comes to me artistically, it's definitely a lot of introspection, definitely a lot of storytelling, just speaking on my experiences and my story. But I feel like, you know, my music is like emotions. I mean, music is emotion, right? But I feel like my music's like emotion, where the feel of it all will vary depending on the record. So I feel like I try my best to create a wide scale of different feelings and vibes in different records, you know what I mean? Because I feel like in general, my music is just, I want to make human music, and I feel like we all as humans have so many different attributes to us emotionally and mentally and da-da-da. So yeah, I try to tap into that.
And so, like, for your music together, how would you describe that? Like, bringing, because you have similar, like, intentions in the sense that you're both introspective, both trying to tell stories, but it sounds like there's a, like, slight change or slight difference in vibe. So how do you feel like, as a unit, you sound, or, like, what kind of sounds you're trying to put out?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I feel like we have the same, definitely have the same taste in terms of how we want certain things to sound production wise. You know, and I think that he's also open to when I'm like, yo, we need more energy on this record, or we need to have, you know, something needs to hit more, or whatever the case may be. I feel like he's always open to that, you know what I mean? And I think that it's easy to work with people that can easily see your vision, and also you can easily see theirs, and you know, we can just naturally, because again, we're friends before we're artists, rappers together, you know what I mean? So it's just like the conversations are always pretty easy to have in terms of like, yo, I like this, yo, I like that, I don't like this, I don't like that.
Yeah.
So I think that it's just like, our goal again is just to tell our story. Our goal again is just to share our experiences, and I think that from there, and with us being able to communicate how we feel and what we do and don't want with records, we're able to really kind of create a good synergy.
I like that.
Yeah.
So let's jump into the next set of tracks. You guys said you're keeping it in the family for this one. You
Yes.
chose Interlude by B.
Yes.
So tell us about your connection to this track, B, and why you chose to play it tonight.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, B is another member of our collective, Wrong Crowd. She's also my significant other.
Oh, I knew it.
Wow.
I was like, why do you want him to take it?
Wow.
I love that. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Personally, this is one of the songs that she has that is personally my favorite. Very relaxing. I feel like it suits the atmosphere we're in really well.
For sure. No, I love that song.
Yeah,
I love that song, produced by one of our other boys in our group he goes by Wisdom.
Nice.
He did produce
Yeah,
that.
bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's really Wrong Crowd altogether, through production to the vocals.
I love that.
Yeah. So, and I love the record, and yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys are going to get a slice of Wrong Crowd with this next track. This is Interlude by B on Lover's Rotation. Welcome back to Lovers Rotation here on CIUT 89.5 FM. You just heard Can't Say by LOWERSELF. That's lowercase and self, the duo that we have here on our couch today. And we've just been getting into their artistry together as well as their latest project, LOWERSELF. But first, let's talk about Can't Say. Tell us, from each of your perspectives, how that song came to be and sort of the story that you wanted to tell with Can't Say. Because I know it's a little deep there.
This record is, for me at least, very energy filled, and it showcases the emotion of, like, you know, when you go out to the club, you're not really feeling the greatest, but you go out to feel better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We've been there, yep.
Yeah, and then you party way too hard, but you're having the best time ever.
Yeah, that's like 50% of the time.
Yeah.
You got to deal with those demons.
Yeah.
And you deal with the demons as soon as you leave and you go home. And now you're sitting by yourself, room spinning. You're like, wow, I still feel the same way I felt before I went clubbing. But that high was great.
Yeah.
So now you chase that feeling. I feel like Can't Say is a record that really emulates that and translates it into song, you know?
That's a really good way to put it, actually, because, like, even think about the chorus, like, you say over and over, like, can't say I'm not lit, which is, like, we've all been there, like you were saying, and I'm like, yeah, I had a good time, but was it worth it? Was it worth it?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's a good feeling to capture.
Yeah. So I'm with him. I feel like the record is kind of just, just in layman's terms, just a record to exemplify intoxication and also not just exemplify that, but also just like the energy and power you get from feeling that in those moments. You know what I mean? Especially when you have low moments, being able to, you know, you're feeling like you have, like, you know, people be like, I'm having a terrible day, man. I'm gonna go get a bottle of wine, or I'm gonna get a glass, you know, whatever. And I think we do that to suppress these moments or low moments, and to then feel better, you know, when we're on our high or, you know, drunk or whatever the case may be. And I feel like the record is that, you know, is just the using alcohol as a suppression to get some level of high about whatever we're going through in our lives. And I feel like we all tend to do it. And you know what I mean?
But it still got the energy.
Yeah, it still got the energy. You
It's
know?
definitely like I'm praying, so I'm going to play this type of track.
You know, for sure. And I think that the record was definitely a record we wanted to put energy into, where we wanted to have it be able to be played outside and play at events and stuff like that, because I feel like we all have moments where we hear certain records and we're like, oh, and
one of those.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the like levels to the message of this song, because like you said, like it's kind of like you modeled it after a song that you would hear that when you're going out, and then also in the chorus saying can't say I'm not lit. So it's really that surface level enjoyment, surface level high, but when you really deep the lyrics, when you deep the meaning of the song, it reflects sort of that emptiness that you still feel when you go home. So I think it's really, really impressive the way you guys modeled this song and just like the way that it's presented. So big shout out.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
So let's jump into the EP. Tell us why you guys decided, you know what, let's combine heads, let's do this, let's give it to the people.
I think that personally for me, I've been making music for a while. And, you know, I've been working with a bunch of my friends from Wrong Crowd and stuff like that. And I feel like Self has been one artist that just collaborating with. We always have, you know, some just good times, and we're both producers, so we just bounce ideas, production-wise as well. And, like, you know, I was like, man, we need to make an album. Like, I was consistently letting him know, like, we need to make an album. I didn't have the concept or anything out yet. I didn't have everything flushed of, like, what I've envisioned or seen. But I was like, I want to make that happen. So as time continued and stuff like that, just, like, figuring out what is it? How would that work?
Yeah.
Just talking with him, and then and then everything kind of just worked seamlessly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So from there, just working on that concept, working on ideas, and we're like, yeah, let's make an album. You know,
I
but
like that.
what about you? How do you feel about it?
No, I agree. I think the only addition I have is just, for me, I've never made a full-length album before.
Okay.
So seeing, you know, his record and, you know, the steps he takes, I felt like in order for me to gain a proper version of that experience, like, there's no better person than Lowercase for me to get that.
I love that.
Yeah, and, you know, like he said, it was so much fun making these records. It is a lot of them are very deep and emotional and touch on very introspective feelings and emotions. But again, two friends doing it, having a great time. I can't even describe it.
Yeah, like, we're not making any of these records like, yo, man, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, like, times is hard.
Man, we really feel that. We're like, yo, we made that. Yeah, it's crazy. So, you know what I mean? Even though some records are going to be coming off very emotional for this album and very thought-provoking, like, we didn't make it like sending each other our verses or whatever and being like, yo, man, yeah, man, this was real, man, yeah, it's real, yo, sad stuff. It was like, we're just enjoying the creation. So you know, no one was depressed in the process of this album.
Okay, you got me there, because I was about to say.
Yeah, no one was depressed in the process of this album.
How deep are we going?
I was going to say, so do you feel like you were both in similar spaces emotionally, whether it was you've been through a time in which you can look back on these emotions and reflect it in an album that is not depressing, but also kind of like uplift and is upbeat? Would you say that if there were similar life experiences that molded the creation of the songs on the EP?
I think it's a lot of understanding, just because we've shared so many stories amongst ourselves, and we've come to understand that, like, you know, there's a common ground here of not only feelings but experiences, and I'm drawing a blank.
That's okay.
Common ground of experiences, and I think that we, again, just growing up with each other and being friends and just talking about certain things.
There you go.
I think that these are stories that we've already had shared with each other. Yeah. And then, you know, now we're going on records talking about them, and also not just talking about them in a present time, but also more so talking about them not just present, but also looking at it in a reflective way. Like, these are experiences that we've experienced or are experiencing, but we're not talking about it like, this is what I'm going through. It's you know, we're going through hell and it's a peril. It's more like, these are the things we're going through. This is how we're seeing it. This is the way we want to see it, how we're going to see it, and how we're trying to process it. And you know, just trying to be again, speaking of all these things, that certain things that may come off as negative, but with a positive mindset, because that's ultimately what we want to portray within the album, is speaking on low moments, but trying to come from a place of our higher self, ironically enough.
Okay. Wow. That's a really well said. So speaking of the album, like, I'll pivot, but because I don't know if we actually said the album name clearly. So,
yeah, it's
like,
called Lower Self.
Lower Self. Okay,
yes,
so Lower Self by Lower Self. So in terms of, like, your process, you kind of talked about it a little bit, working together. Like, obviously there's a friendship there, and you're building off of these shared experiences, shared stories. But were there any instances where you're like, you weren't on the same page, or you had to kind of, like, have you ever had to convince each other about, like, certain aspects of the song or certain, like, elements, like, oh, I want this, but you're like, actually, no, I'm not really feeling that. Like, have there been any moments like that for you?
Not really.
I don't feel like there's ever been I don't think there's ever been like a hard, he's fighting for something and I'm like, no, or I'm fighting for something, he's like, no. I think it's always been, I'll be like, yeah, I don't like this, and he'd be like, all right, cool, I see what you're saying. Or he'd be like, I don't like this either. I'd be like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Or it'd be like, I don't know how I feel about it, and he would be like, nah, man, I'm telling you, da-da-da-da, and I'll live with it for a bit, and I'll be like, okay. And, or vice versa, like, I'll be like, live with it, and he'll be like, you know what, I like it now. You know? Yeah.
There's a song on there, I'm gonna just say the name.
Yeah,
There's a
of
song
course.
on there called Butterfly.
Yeah.
The way it started versus how it ended up, completely different.
Yeah, for sure.
And that started with like, I don't really like this. And,
Yeah.
you know, it became a conversation.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
Now it is.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of people's favorite record that we've shared it to. Because it was like a really rap-esque record, and he was like, nah, man, I want to change it a bit. And I was like, all right, well, I don't know what you see, but try. And then he changed it. And first I was like, interesting. And then I was like, yo, this is really good. You know what I mean? It was really good. And I think that, you know, it's a record that, it's a record I can't wait to put it out, man. Honestly, it's a really good high energy record. It's just a really feel good song.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of feel good, we're going to get you guys into a song off of the Lower Self album. It's Follow My Lead.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about Follow My Lead before we jump right in.
I'll let you start this one.
Okay. Follow My Lead is a record where if I were to put it in this quick terms, I think it's just more so a record of speaking to a loved one about ultimately just following my lead and trusting in me and putting your trust and your faith in me as your partner, to be your partner and be a person that will love you and appreciate you and acknowledge you. You know, and I think really the record is just speaking on my specific experiences of being, you know, growing up in my relationship with love and my relationship with relationships, and, you know, things I've learned and things I've done, and, you know, understanding those things and trying to be better for that next person.
Okay. Love that. Beautifully said. We're just going to jump right in. This is Follow My Lead by Lower Self. Welcome back to Lovers Rotation here on CIUT 89.5 FM. You guys just heard Sugar by Callie Sway, and that was chosen by our guest tonight, Lowercase and Self. So tell us, why did you choose Sugar? By the way, I love Callie Sway. I think she's so talented, and she's just going to shoot right up. But what's your connection to the song?
Yeah, shout out Callie Sway. I had heard her record at an event in Toronto called Fill in the Blank, hosted by a few cool people. Main host is Joel. It goes by Joel. Okay. And it's a platform where they just allow artists to pull up, and, you know, it's kind of eclectic of how they do things. It's really random and not really planned, but they allow artists to play some of their music. And that was the first time I ever heard Callie Sway, and from there kind of just checked out her music, and I was like, you know, she's really dope. And from there, yeah, it's been supporting.
Love that. So I'll let you take it away for Wrong Crowd.
Yeah, sure. I mean, speaking of artists, speaking of platforms, so you both kind of touched on it already, but tell us a little bit about Wrong Crowd and like the story behind that. I feel like I have an idea of the name, but I'm gonna let y'all.
Wrong Crowd is in general, I think the why we went by Wrong Crowd is to ultimately just play on the meaning of the name Wrong Crowd, and the goal is, you know, I think everything in the world is based off perception, how we see things, especially in this day and age. I mean, as we come into, as Cat Williams called it, the light. And a lot of things that are happening are coming into the light, and these people that we perceived to be whatever we all perceive them to be, are being shown in who they really are. You know what I mean? And I think that with the name, it's really just changing the perspective of the phrase "wrong crowd," and us trying to, you know, be the best versions of ourselves and try to all work together collectively, as just like a family and a community to support each other to be the best versions of ourselves. Though we you know, all come from, you know, specific areas, you know, in the city that aren't necessarily the most represented or appreciated, like Scarborough, like Egg West,
Period.
Eglinton West,
Egg West, yeah.
you know, Little Jamaica and stuff like that. Like, I just feel like all these
Egg West.
places, period joke.
Nah,
But I think-
like I rep Egg West hard.
Yeah.
That's
like,
facts.
Yeah, so I just feel like a lot of us come from all these underrepresented places,
mhm.
and I think that, you know, we don't get enough appreciation or love or just attention for us to allow to even be better. And so, you know, it's one of those things where, yeah, just trying to change that perspective of ourselves and using a phrase that people may look at as a negative thing, and again, just trying to flip it on its head, and us to be able to be ultimately be representatives of things that people want to look at and try to be like these guys, these group of people, the woman, this whole wrong crowd, like they're really trying their best to be the best versions of themselves. And, you know, we would love for people to see us and respect what we're trying to do, you know, because we're more than our experiences, what we look like, where we're from. And ultimately, that's what the Wrong Crowd's from. Represents on there.
Yeah, so great. Make sure you guys go check out Wrong Crowd. It sounds like you guys are doing some beautiful things, and it sounds like a breath of fresh air, not just for the city, but for the music industry in general. Just like for creatives to be proud in setting their best foot forward, but also giving you quality sounds, quality music, and just caring about what they put out. So big ups to you guys.
Yeah.
So what we like to do on the show, before we say goodbye, we like to give you guys an opportunity to sort of let some things off of your chest. So this can be related to anything. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. It's not just music. It's very open-ended.
Okay.
But whatever you want to talk about,
Okay.
whatever comes to mind. So what has been on your mind or your heart recently? It could be a
This guy
positive thing,
finished the beer. I
could
like
be
that.
a negative thing. It could be anything at all. So like, what's something you want to get off your chest right now?
I'll let you go first. I feel
No,
like I
no.
know what you're gonna say.
You don't know what I'm gonna say. I don't even know what I'm gonna say. There's so many
If you
wild
need
things.
it,
I
you're
would
gonna
love
be
to-
like pro raccoon more sentiment or like
Nah. No. Go ahead. You go first. I'm thinking. There's so many things I could say.
A couple things I want to get off my chest.
Yeah, it could be anything at all. Literally anything.
They're really deeping and like
No,
thinking
I
about
appreciate
this
that though.
question.
I appreciate
Nah,
that.
because I think that for myself, I feel like I don't want to say anything. You know, I don't know. You don't want to ruffle no feathers. You know what I'm saying?
Ruffle the
Yeah.
feathers. It's okay.
But
We can.
you know what I'll do in terms of this ruffling the feathers, I'll let people know. I love great art. We were just talking about this. She just claimed that I am as well. I am a top level hater.
He's
I'm
really
a
good.
top level hater. So, but I'm not a hater in the sense of I'm just gonna hate something for the sake of hating it. Like
Yeah.
that's weak. You know what I mean? Like people that do that, you need to chill out and love yourself a bit more. But I am a hater for things that of people that don't have an appreciation for, especially when it comes to art and music, whether it's acting. If you don't care about your craft, I am gonna hate on you. I'm going to look at what you're doing. I can understand. I can always try my best to find or see the way of why people like something. You know what I mean? There's artists that I never liked before, but I had to understand why do people like this person or why do people listen to this, even though I might not like it. But there's a lot of artists that I'm never going to understand why people like your music, and I don't think it's good. And I tell my friends, and I'll tell the artist too, it's never, if you ever really want to have that real conversation with me, say, do you think my music is good? I'll tell you why I don't like it. Because it's always going to be like a true, you know, it's not going to be like, I just think you're bad because you're bad. No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a top level hater.
Okay. So give us like a little bit. So you're a top level hater, but like let's hear, who do you love a lot? Like what is an artist or an album or a song that you love?
Honestly, I
You be hating.
honestly really, really love Lower Self right now. I really love Lower Self
heard
right
they're
now. Honestly, I don't really listen to as much music as I feel like I used to before because you're starting to make so much more music of your own. But in terms of like outside artists, I really love an artist name. He goes by Jivy Lewis. He's really dope.
Really
Like I said, Cali Sway, really dope. Jasmine Kiara, you guys heard on the show.
Yep.
Shout out Jasmine, really dope artist, beautiful voice.
Yeah.
I just seen Charlotte Day Wilson like a couple of days ago.
Oh, I love her.
And my boy Deshaun put me on a song she has called Doubt that I really, really like.
Love that.
So shout out to her. You know, there's a bunch of, I mean, I love Daniel. Personally, I really love Daniel Caesar's last album.
And then, Self, what do you want to get off your chest today?
What do I want to get off my chest? I just stay true to the name, you know what I mean? People got to be more in tune with themselves. Just know yourself. Be yourself. Don't change that. Like Vince Staples said, you know what I mean? Certain things, you know who you are, you know who you should be.
In that case, let's just jump into the last track. Okay, so the last track you guys chose OTG.
Yes.
On the Go.
Yeah.
Why is that the song you want to say goodbye with tonight?
On the Go is a record off of my last album, Pilot Episode. It was actually the 2-year anniversary now for it.
Fire album.
So salute to that.
Big up, big up.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm trying to plan, ironically enough, I'm trying to plan out another show, a 2 anniversary show for it.
Nice.
In February, March, at the Drake Hotel. So we're trying to work on doing that.
Nice.
But yeah, no, the record is just speaking on just being in a relationship, but also being very busy, being consistently moving, doing things, and just really appreciating your partner, loving your partner, but also like just that feeling of like, man, like I gotta go, I gotta do this, I got this thing to do, that thing to do. So just trying to let her know, or him know, or they know, like I love you and appreciate you, but I'm on the go.
Okay. I
That
know a lot of
rhymed.
people can feel that, even like as artists, it's hard because it's very demanding, and not just physically, not just with your time, but like emotionally, and your social battery just gets drained out so easily. So
Definitely.
I think that's real. So before we say goodbye, let our audience know where they can find you guys, socials, anything you want to link, anything you want to plug in.
Anything you're cooking.
Hey, man. Lower Self on the way. Beautiful project. Can't wait to share with the world. You can find me on Instagram at self-titled WC, spelled as it is, as it sounds.
Sounds as it is, as it sounds. I like that.
That's clean.
Really?
Yes, not like
Yeah,
that.
that's nice. That's
That-
smooth.
as
You
it
should
is, as
just
it
keep
sounds.
saying that every
was
time.
cool.
You gotta say,
Yeah.
that should be your
Tag.
thing.
Yeah. And then
You heard it here first. Lovers Rotation.
and then you can follow me and find me at lowercase, like the word lowercase, opposite of capital, WC. So lowercase WC, just the 2 letters WC at the end. And yeah, man, we're working on just the final touches of the Lower Self album. The song Follow My Lead should be coming out closer later on. Honestly, you guys got like a real first ever listen unreleased.
I like
So,
that.
yeah.
We love to hear
Yes,
exclusives here.
Exactly. And our next single is probably going to be a record called Celebrate from our album, and we're going to try to work on a really cool video for that as well.
Nice. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank
you guys.
you.
Thank you guys for having us.
No, I haven't cackled like this in a
I
minute. Like, this is
know.
hilarious.
Hey,
The
man.
energy, honestly, since you guys walked in, 10 out of 10.
Immaculate.
Thank you.
10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Immaculate. I love
Thank
this little Full House situation we got going
Yes,
on.
no,
I'm
it's
feeling
great.
I'm
It's
feeling
great,
it.
man. Shout out to you guys, and shout out to Dapper.
Big ups, Dapper.
Yeah, I mean,
All
shout
the
out
time.
Shout out to Uprising Star Joshua Ober over there with us in the cut.
Big ups.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so thank you guys once again for spending your Tuesday evening with us here on Lovers Rotation. As you know, if you want to find us on Instagram at lovers.rotation, and then our email is loversrotation@ciut.fm. Make sure you guys hit us up on Instagram at the end of this episode, because then you'll be able to see all of the songs that we play, and also get in touch with Lowercase Self, Lower Self, and Wrong Crowd as well. As always, all of our episodes are mixed by the one and only Des Sound, so make sure you link her on Instagram at des.sound. She's amazing, and big shout out once again to Dapper. We do miss you on the mic, by the way. We're gonna plot to get him on the mic before the end of the year.
Yes.
Let's see if we
Get
can
to
get that
know.
done. We need some more nonsense on the mic from him, but stay tuned. Make sure you guys go hit him up at DapperDan6. He directed and edited and shot and all of that, all of our beautiful videos here that you watch on Lovers Rotation. So once again, we're going to end tonight off with OTG. And as always, make sure to stay connected, stay safe, and smile. Have a great night.
Night.
Bye.